Last time my truck's driving, not turbo. It'll do way better burnouts when it's turbo. Donnie just spray painted right here so we can align the hood later. That's fucking smart. Alright, so here's the old fucking non-turbo motor. She free. That shit's coming out. That shit's going in. Just yanking this. Didn't really record the whole process of ripping the motor out because it's pretty repetitive and boring. Cut everything you're not using. Destroy everything you're not using. Try to save the shit that you are using. But she's coming out right now. She's free. First time in, I don't know, like 20 years. So I'm gonna rip this bitch out and see what we got left. See how this thing's gonna fit. So the motor's out. And out there. Because we don't need that shit no more. Right now I am fitting the accessories off the old motor to the turbo motor. And I had to notch it right there for the hose. This side sucked a little more. I had to completely cut off this mount and then notch this to go over the intake manifold. Because the intake manifold, it uses this bolt right here, so the step right here. So right now I'm filing it flat. And the other motor doesn't have a distributor, it's coil pack. So this is why I had to cut the back mount off. That whole mount I had to remove. I gotta fine tune it a little bit. It just barely touches. So that's where the intake manifold will sit now. I'm filing it flat. I'm gonna put a washer in between so it still holds down on the intake. And that's where the distributor is essentially. I think I got the pieces still. So that's the rear mount that you'd have to take out. It wasn't that easy to get off the first time. And this is the notch I made. So, also, I had to take the water pump pulley and this pulley because it's spaced out a little bit. Like probably the old belt would ride where the smooth part is. But the degree marks read out and everything, so that's cool. So we're in good shape. I gotta take the heater box out next, or the AC and heater box. I'm just gonna remove it now, and later I'm gonna see what I can do to put it back in. Get rid of these motor mounts, put the new ones on, and the fuel lines I have something completely different for. Just ghetto hose I just had to make. So the fuel filter is that type fitting, and the fuel rail on the new motor is this style fitting, but the one off the old motor, that would be this one. The one off the old motor was like some circular thing with a spring inside of it. I don't know, it's an old style clamp or old style connection. So I'm gonna get the file in this and we'll see how it fits. I cut the motor mount, and it turns out you need these motor mounts off the truck motor to put on the 2.3 turbo motor.
Cut it there too.
Yeah. I didn't think I needed it. It turns out you do. The fuel system was a bitch in this motherfucker. So this is the fuel filter that's in the truck, which is a male, and then it's male going into the, there's two hoses that come off the rail from the car. And I couldn't find a male to female. Actually, all these fittings are hard as shit to find. There's a couple you can find in the help section, like one help hose is this white connector, and then there's nothing on this end. Then I had to find this end at Pep Boys in their dusty box in the back. Then I had to press it into the nylon, which there's videos on as well on YouTube. And then the two male ends usually come in a pipe that is that much longer. So I cut that, flared it, and got a union just to shorten it up about 6 inches. So essentially all I did, if I had a female on one end and a male on the other, like 8 inches long, I would have been fine, but I had to cobble together this freaking mess. Wait till you see the return line. The return line is 5/16 as well on the truck. And it had this male connector here I was able to take out and cut down. And I slammed a female connector in and this is 5/16 to compression fitting, and this is compression fitting to 1/4 inch. Actually, this goes 5/16 to 1/4 inch. It's like a what is it? A sending unit. I'll give you the part number on it. But this is a 1/4 inch compression fitting. This piece I saved off the car. It's 1/4 inch to male nylon connector with the interior clip, which is incredibly hard to find, so don't fucking break or lose that. So that's my return line. It's low pressure. Don't worry about the compression fitting. I'm not going to die, and if I do, fuck yeah, I was probably doing a burnout. Here's the supply line installed as well. So that's coming from the fuel rail from the turbo coupe car, and then you have the male to male, which I shortened. Female goes to the fuel filter right here. Best of luck with that bullshit. It took me like a day of driving around. Enjoy. Ask for the manager at the parts store. So while I'm down here, you can see you have to actually extend the mount forward about 4 inches each to mount in those mounting holes. And that's my new bracket I made out of ungodly thick steel because it's all I had laying around. You can see my fuel setup there. It's pretty haggard, but it'll work. And the slave I was able to bend around the clutch line and get it into this factory slave for the car. Oil filter's a little bit tight getting it in and out, but I never changed my oil anyways. I had to clean the frame right there for the exhaust pipe. Looks like a lot, but it's only about 3/4 of an inch in, and it's like a V. It's not really that bad at all. I gotta bleed the clutch, which basically notoriously sucks in Rangers. I've done this before. You have to basically take the master off the fucking firewall, and all the air gets stuck on the top, and it's leaned in. Oh god, that hit me in the face. It's like leaned in like that, so all the air travels to the top, and the reservoir is at the bottom, so all the air gets trapped up here. I'll show you better. Factory speedo cable goes right in, which is fucking sweet. Factory drive shaft works, also fucking sweet. That's pretty much it for down here. Even the factory starter wires, I'm actually using the bracket up there to hold it. See that rusty thing on the black? The nut right there, the lights on it. That's a stock bracket to hold the starter wire. That's old oxygen sensor wire that I will not be using. And that's pretty much it for down here. Here's a list of shit I got. Loose gauge. Yeah. So here's the nest of wiring I got. I'm just kind of hacking it right now because I want to get it running, and then I got to finalize everything, loom it, run it all nice. There's a lot going on. It's a Ron Francis wiring harness. It was like $450. Literally the most expensive thing I bought for this whole project. I bought this for my Subaru, but it didn't fit because it's for like 08 plus, but it obviously fits there perfectly. I got a cone filter to go on there in the mail, and this was the slave I was talking about. I'll hit it with the light. So it points downward, and the fucking that's the reservoir hose right there. So all the air gets trapped at the top, and there's no way for it to get out besides taking the master out and tilting it and then playing with it. And the air comes out, playing with it. That's exactly how you do it too. So I gotta cut out the shifter hole some more, fill the trans from the shifter hole, and get the air out of the master there, and see if it'll run, you know? So there's the old shifter hole, new shifter hole, and this is how you fill a T5. Isn't that easy? I love it. Oh yeah, there's like a small hole, so it takes a little while, but this is far easier than pumping it in from the side. so I'm a big fan. I got 3 T5s in my trucks. I don't know, maybe 2 now. I don't know. I'll have to count later, but here she goes. I gotta do the first start, and the clutch is working now. I took it all apart and bled it, and I think we're gonna be good for a test ride. I don't have a rad fan yet, so that, you know, only around the block or keep her moving. But yeah, it's going pretty good. Let's start here. I think I got everything together. This is a barometric air pressure sensor. So if like you drive to Colorado or something, it realizes the air is thinner. Isn't that fucked up? It's like a map sensor, but it doesn't go into anything. It just senses the air pressure around us. Got some ghetto rig wiring. Once I get it running good and everything, I'm gonna finalize all the wiring and route the harness I want. I got a wire loom it. So this is more or less just a test run. See what happens here. I caught the, it wasn't cranking at first, so I caught the wire right at the clutch switch to the keyed start, so. Oh, sputter. Nothing. Nothing. Alright. Wanna know what? I hear the fuel pump. Let me go figure that out. Like, bro, I noticed your boost gauge is zip tied to your windshield wiper. Like, what are you gonna do when it rains? Nothing, you asshole. I engineered that shit. It's fine. It actually comes with this relay block, and there's a wire to run the fuel pump to find the positive. But for now, I found this wire coming off the power distribution box, and if you ground it, we get the fuel pump when the key's on. When you turn the key off, the fuel pump turns off. So I think I'm gonna, yeah, I noticed the wire nuts. I know. Once again, temporary. Let's say it with me. So I'm gonna hook it up to that and see what happens this time. All right, so fuel pump is running. We're all wired. I found a switch power wire on this plug that I'm no longer using for the old motor as well. This used to go to the old harness. So I found switch power, I tapped off of it. That powers my computer. And apparently you have to put power to the relay box as well, because that closes the relay that powers the computer. And I got it all grounded up here, which goes to a ground strap to the motor, also to the body. It's almost semi-legit, but I wouldn't say so. All this shit's coming for a ride with me, I guess. Fuel pumps are running. Neutral. Here's the new shifter position. I saved the boot off the turbo coupe. So I just need a shift boot, or maybe I'll just use this one. I don't know. Neutral. Oh shit. Oh, that good open downpipe noise. You hear the fucking turbo? Music to my motherfucking ears. Yo. Listen to the turbo noises. The turbo sounds so good. It's insane. I love it. Man's hooking up my man's hooking me up with some light on the boost gauge. It's starting to rain, so it's fine. I got wipers.
I know that boost pressure on the way home.
Yeah, I was getting at her a little bit hard on my road. Pop the old boost coupler. Fuck yeah, she's going good though. Oh, couldn't see it. Sorry. She's going good though. Definitely spinning tire, second gear. I gotta clean up all this wiring, and I can't see what I'm boosting at because it's nighttime and I don't have a light on my boost gauge. He didn't hook it up, so it's whatever. Tomorrow I'm gonna fuck with it some more. This was donated by the Blue Ranger, the new one, and I don't know, man, I made it back to my house, so that's pretty sick, right? I just drove it like 10-15 miles. Gotta put a radiator fan on. It's gonna help a lot. And just gotta clean up this wiring. And then we'll be making manual boost controllers and shit. I'm pretty sure the wastegate's not working too, so I gotta check that out. But, hell yeah.